It is August 18th, 2024 in Nikiski, Alaska. And this is my garden. We have maybe 3 weeks, if we're lucky 4, to get everything ready for the winter. Our first frost is usually around September 8th. So my apple trees. And we got a lot going on in here. Lots of weeds. A lot of projects that I didn't get to. But believe me, they will keep till next year. Crab apple tree. We have 3 new apple trees. They didn't blossom or anything this year. Maybe next year. I got my raspberries here. Last year we got 3 raspberries. This year we have had loads and loads of them. They're small. I'll bring the boys up today, my grandbuddies, and they'll pick off these ones that are ready. I have a patch of strawberries here that we've been eating on all summer. And they're pretty tiny too. Stay on. But man, some things are looking beautiful. Some things are looking tired. I have some scissors because I'm going to be doing some pruning. This bed has poppies. These poppies. Some borage. I love the color of the borage. And I hope that comes back next year. Not too many pollinators this year, but there's one. Happy as can be. I have some squash here. Haven't harvested anything on there. There are some squash. I haven't had time just to come up here and pollinate. Look, there's a bee in that one. This is a pumpkin. So, Mr. Pumpkin, do your job, please. I mean, Mr. Pollinator. Yo, bumblebee. Pollinate my pumpkins. I've had to pull off 5 of these pumpkins on this side because they had blossom end rot, and the slugs are getting inside the blossoms. Anyway, when the ducks were up here, it was so hot and there were no slugs to be found. This celery is going to seed. I'll let it because I got all this celery. Nasturtiums. Tomatoes. I do actually have tomatoes out here. I just took these plants back by about 50% to hope to ripen up some of these tomatoes that are out here. I ran out of room in my garden, my greenhouse, and so I popped these 11 tomato plants out here because we were having such a nice summer, and of course it got cold. So we've been in the 60s. At night it's been going down to 40. Tomato. But we'll see. We will see what we get. I didn't have room in there. I could have just thrown them in the compost, but instead I popped them in here. And it's better than nothing, I guess. And my carnations are starting to want to bloom, and it's red. It's going to be beautiful. This Sweet William came back from last year. This giant pansy came back from last year, and of course it has seen better days. But I'm saving the seeds, so I didn't want to cut anything back because the seeds are going to spring out, and that should come back next year again. This is a Sweet William as well. It came back from last year. I planted this beautiful, I think it's a poppy. Could be what's that other one that gets huge? Anyways, there's another plant that I like to plant, but I can't remember what it's called, and it gets absolutely huge. But I planted this color for my daughter because she would love these colors. So, yes. And then that giant pansy came back from last year. And those are beautiful. My lettuce, my spinach went to seed. Didn't get very big before it went to seed. Alyssum, that's alyssum over there, smells amazing. And finally, my marigold. I had marigolds. I planted probably hundreds of marigolds, and that's the only one that has really survived and looks decent. I don't know. It won't come back. This is my carrots. They're putting on some size finally. None of my peonies bloomed this year. They're at the end of each of the beds. But I have a peony here. It's getting taken over from this nasturtium. And then I have, these are not poppies. Are these poppies? Starts with an S or a C, the other plant that I'm thinking of, but I can't. Won't come in my mind. I cut these pansies back. They were red, white, and blue, and they were gorgeous. And then a yellow one popped up, and they came back from last summer, so they were huge and big. They were crowding out my peony here, so I had to cut around it, and I cut this completely back. But it has decided to spring forth more beautiful flowers. More into pansies. Not sure what this flower is that I planted. They had labels on everything, and then my grandbuddy, he thinks the labels are his, so he comes and pulls them all out and plays with them. And these are leeks. I would show you the onion bed, but my onions are so small you can't even see them over the weeds. It's over here. These are my onions. I kind of gave up on them a little bit because they were just not getting bigger. And my Shasta daisies are just about to pop open. Last year they popped open about 3 days before it got cold. I'm not sure if this is I think that's a weed. Probably should pull it out, but it's really fuzzy. Oh, it's not gonna prickle me. Okay. No more weeds. It's that time of year though. Got my garlic out. It was very small. Very sad. My elephant garlic looked like one clove of regular sized garlic. So these were the beds they're in, and I think the problem was that these beds are the wettest beds. They don't drain well, and so when the snow melted, it was just too wet for too long. So I am going to plant my garlic in one of the taller raised beds over here and see how we do. Gotta keep trying. My hanging strawberries, we have been getting lots and lots of berries. The boys just come and eat them for snacking. And I pulled off about 11, maybe 13 runners, and they are growing on over by the greenhouse so that I can, because I overwintered those in the greenhouse this year and it worked really well. I had strawberries in May, so that was fantastic. My potatoes, this bed, they never got blooms, but I guess some potato varieties don't bloom. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to dig them up and see what happens. But my husband wants to wait till the first frost. So about 3 weeks. But I told him, you know, when the potato plants die down all the way to the ground, they're not growing. The potatoes themselves are not growing anymore. None of these are died back all the way. I did have one that was completely gone. It was completely dead that I dug up here. And it actually was a volunteer potato. I found the seed potato that I planted, and it was a white potato, if you can see that. Yeah. And it actually didn't grow. We had a volunteer potato here, a red one that did grow. And so we have some surprise red potatoes, which is fantastic. There are a few in here. I was gonna come up here and see if there's one I could dig up. Like this one. Might be gone enough. But it does have some life to it still. So, I don't know. Should I pull it? Should I pull it? And then, of course, I only planted this bed. All of these potatoes here are volunteers, and they all bloomed. So these should be purple or red potatoes. And then all of these here are volunteers as well. And I believe these are purple potatoes because the blooms were purple. And the blooms on here are purple. And then I did have blooms on here, maybe on this one, that were white. So I'm thinking that's a Yukon Gold. I hope. And then my squash finally putting on some growth. And I did pull off 3 squash. They were pretty small, about the size of a good cucumber. Maybe here. Sorry about that. That one's pretty small. I'll let it grow another day or so. But the small ones are going to be soft and tender and delicious. So I'm looking forward to eating those. And then some sage. I love the color of the sage. I want to deadhead those. And then the labella are finally starting to grow. They didn't bloom till August last year as well. So, and I planted them up in March, and they grew on, and it took forever, but here we go. And I love the blue with the red, so we'll see. And I just had a flat of flowers I didn't have room for, and so I just popped them all in here. This was my cabbage bed, and the duck came and ate all the cabbage. These ones are trying to come back. Finally, a hawk or something came in and killed 3 of my ducks. So we are down to 1 duck, and I moved her to the barn where she is safe. And she is with the chickens now. But we'll see if any of these bloom. The cabbage, you can eat the leaves. I mean, before it freezes, I'll come and get whatever's here and have a nice salad, because it'll be tender and yummy. I don't know what these are that I planted, but I love them. They're beautiful. I want to say yarrow. And something else. I don't even know. I can't remember. And this is my broccoli. The ducks came in, every single one of these were down to the ground. They just had one little tiny stick sticking up. So I covered them to protect it, and I started watering and fertilizing, and this is how big they are now. And I did do a harvest of broccoli, and some I'm letting go to seed. That one, and there's one down over there. And yeah, but I can do another harvest today of these little ones, little shoots. Yes, there's a bunch of little ones, and this will be tender and sweet and just delicious. Chamomile growing everywhere, I don't mind, because when you walk on it, it smells like bubble gum. In the paths, I'd rather have the chamomile than the grass or the dandelions. So there you go. And they're good for the pollinators, because there haven't been many pollinators this year. My beans finally have some flowers, and these beans are supposed to be ones that you dry and use, like, they're called homesteaders beans. We'll see. I probably won't get nothing, because these have flowers. They don't have beans yet, and they have to dry up and everything, so probably nothing on that. But I'll use them. I can cut them down, put them onto the ground, and let them compost into place, and that will bring some nutrients to my bed. These are green beans, and they have finally flowered. Some of them only just started to bloom. So I really don't think I'm going to get any green beans on those puppies either. Now that makes me sad. The ducks did not get those because I had them covered already and protected. My lavender has bloomed. I got 2 blooms. 2 beautiful blooms on that one. And none on this one. So I don't know if they're a biannual or what, but they came back from last year, which was completely surprising to me. And then those are Shasta daisies that won't do anything before the end of our season. But I thought I would give you a little walkthrough of the middle of August garden before it's all gone. And of course, my sugar snap peas on this side are trying to come back. Oh look, I have one little sugar snap peas. The ducks would not leave these alone. Would not leave them alone. I actually planted them twice and they mowed them down. Twice, so come on little buddy. I'll put that up on the fence there. Here we go. So I have one little pea. Maybe I'll get a handful, maybe I won't. This side had beans. There is a couple of bean plants trying. They're getting all weeded out. And then I have some sweet peas here. Obviously white blooms on this one. I had them planted all along here, but this is the only one that survived. So I gotta do better next year. The ducks did really well. I wasn't supplementing their feed, and so I thought they would have plenty of greens and berries because I have underplanted all the apple trees with strawberry plants. What?
You gotta go get Trevor?
Yeah. And there's bugs and all kinds of things, but that's why they attacked my brassicas. It's because I wasn't supplementing their food. Once I started feeding them their feed, they stopped attacking my plants again. So anyways, lessons learned. I gotta go pick up my son from work. So I guess we will see you another day. Goodbye.